Hi, thank you for joining me in another episode of Chad Sports Talk. You don't know, my name's Chad. I want to take a dive into world sports. This is my college football week 6 recap video. Let you know how well I kind of did in my picks last week. And kind of go over some of those exciting games that we had over this past Saturday. Now, before we get into it, if you go ahead, smash that thumbs up for me, give me a like. And also, if you could also subscribe. Once you do that, you hit the bell notification until next time I post a video. And let's begin. I did go 8-4 last week, which have improved since I started doing these picks. So let's go ahead and dive right into that River Showdown between OU and Texas. In the early goings, it looks like Texas is going to blow the doors off the Sooners. They were up at 1 point, 28-7. It's like it's going to be a rout of the Sooners. So Cajuns had the Longhorns playing. Then Oklahoma benched Rattler. Once they did that, Oklahoma did the impossible. They came back from the largest deficit in the Red River Showdown history and scored a game-winning touchdown with like 3 seconds left to win 55-48 in the highest scoring ever Red River Showdown. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, right now I think both defenses need a lot of help. They coughed up a lot of big plays that you couldn't really stop anything. And it lets you know there's a lot of work on both sides of the ball. I mean, Oklahoma seemed to find their muse with Caleb Williams. He came in and replaced Rattler and performed very well, leading to 2 scoring drives with a higher completion rating than Rattler. And it looks like, he's a very good talent, and it looks like he should lead the Sooners from here on out, but it's hard to determine how they're going to go with this. And it's just a matter of time. That means their showdown, I think they kind of got coming up with Oklahoma State, and Bedlam's going to be huge. Because now both Oklahoma schools are undefeated in the Big 12. And you still got Baylor lurking out there as well, so it'll be interesting. In SEC territory, there was a bunch of remarkable games. Games you wouldn't think of, and it's just amazing to see the talent on the field in all these locations. Heading off into Oxnard, Mississippi, where you had the 13th Razorbacks visiting the 17th ranked Rebels. This was a rebound game for both schools, so they both lost to Georgia and Alabama respectively. And my lord, that final quarter was just a defense just going ole and just letting teams just score willy-nilly, and just was like no defense whatsoever as they were trading touchdowns back and forth. Big play after big play. It wasn't until at the end where Arkansas went down there, scored that touchdown, that Arkansas took a gamble. They risked it for the biscuit. Their offense was playing exceptionally well, and while I do think it's a gutsy call, I personally would have done that, but I'm not the head coach, so he tried a 2-point conversion to win the game and did not make it, and Ole Miss held on 52-51. I mean, hats off to both these schools. They were just phenomenal and just running amok and lighting up the scoreboard. The defensive coordinators definitely probably lost a few years of their life because they couldn't stop anything. And, hats off to Arkansas. I mean, why not go for it? I mean, it's your offense is just booming, and defense can stop anything. So why not? I mean, I get the thrill, but I think sending the game to OT would probably have been better. But I think you just go, no, screw it. It's either win it or go home. I think it's his mentality. Then number 2, Georgia visited number 18, Auburn, and unfortunately this was not even close. Georgia's defense contained Auburn in all levels, and Georgia pulled away 34-10. LSU visited number 16, Kentucky, and there's a few that kind of went out there, kind of picked LSU to win this one, but I just saw too much in Kentucky. right now, especially how they handle Florida, and they were all over the Tigers, and they doubled them up 42-21. Unfortunately, they did lose a couple of the key defensive linemen in that game, so they won't be available for that big showdown with Georgia next week. But Kentucky looks really good right now. I feel next week will be a different story, but that's for another video. In the shocker of the college football world, number 1 Alabama goes to Texas A&M. All eyes are looking for the A&M to roll. They had a 19-point favorite, and A&M dominated them both sides of the ball. I mean, they couldn't escape. And it was a last play field goal that A&M upset the Tide in College Station. And just think of that. Alabama has their first loss in a long time. Just some questionable play calling by Alabama, I think, kind of led to this one. But I don't expect Alabama to really, stay out of the picture too long. I think they'll probably still end up winning the West anyways. But this definitely put a little black mark on their record. Then we head out to Blacksburg, Virginia, where Enter Sandman played through the PA system, the stadium, and the ground shook as the Hokies faithful jumped around as things were ready, and they were just riled up. I mean, Virginia gave the Irish everything. They left nothing on the field. Notre Dame had to go to a couple, use multiple quarterbacks again, even though they didn't want to. But they kind of had to spark some life in that offense. And there was another last-second field goal that led the Irish to escape Blacksburg with the victory, 32-29. In Iowa, number 3 Iowa hosted number 4 Penn State, and this lived up to the hype. Both defense came out to play. Iowa was able to get some early turnovers, but Penn State's defense denied them to only 3 points off those first 2 turnovers they got. So both defenses came out. They were doing what they needed to do. The offenses were kind of contained. They were exchanging some picks here and there, but nothing could really get points on the board. Unfortunately, Clifford from Penn State got hurt. Once that happened, that's what Iowa was able to edge out Penn State with a 23-20 victory. The number 7 Ohio State hosted Maryland. I thought the Terps would scare them. I think the Terps scared themselves, and they didn't even show up because it was a 66-17 shellacking. Up in Syracuse, New York, I kind of thought the Orange would be able to upset Wake Forest. And they tried. They really did. I mean, they took them to overtime. So they Syracuse knows how to play against ranked opponents at home. It's scary for anyone to go up to Syracuse if you're ranked. That's the Orange will come out for you. But the Wake was able to hold on and win the 40-37 in OT. Some of the other games that not many people will give much thought to. UTSA visiting Western Kentucky. I know not many people looking at UTSA as Conference USA. They haven't really played anyone difficult. That's true. But the only marquee win you could probably say is, hey, they beat Illinois in Illinois. But that's not saying much. And I said Western Kentucky gave them scare, and it was the Roadrunners were scared. The Hilltoppers were giving them everything they possibly could. I mean, the defenses, once again, decided not to show up. And Roadrunners were able to escape Kentucky with a 52-46 victory. The Lobos had to take on the Aztecs, and it was just too much Aztecs for them as they rolled over New Mexico 31-7. And then the last one was number 24 SMU were taking on Navy. I thought Navy would be able to take them because this was a rivalry game between these two programs. So rivalry games always tend to be very good. But that second half defenses really kind of showed up. Ones only went 10-3 in the second half, but it was in favor of SMU as they scored a touchdown in the middle of the fourth, and that's all they needed. And they walked away against Navy with a 31-24 victory. and I will get those picks for week 7 this Friday for you to let you know who I think is going to win some key matchups. You got that huge one with Georgia and Kentucky. It's going to be a big matchup in the SEC East. So, the Big Ten East right now is a crowded division. We have undefeated Michigan and Michigan State and one-loss teams of Ohio State, Penn State, all right there. So that Big Ten East is going to be phenomenal watching that race going down to the end, because Ohio State ends their season with Michigan State and Michigan. So that would define Ohio State's season with that one. Comment down below, let me know what you think of this week 6 action. Which game surprised you the most besides Alabama and Texas A&M? Which one should I maybe take a stab at? That was a very quality matchup between two quality programs. And I'll see you soon on the next episode of Chat Sports Talk.